In this chapter, we're going to talk about friending cats in your practice. And friending cats is only one of the solutions that came out of the Bayer Veterinary Care Usage Study to help increase traffic at your practice. We've talked in the earlier chapters about marketing, about communicating the need for care, about pricing, and after we talk about friending cats, we'll talk about making it easy for clients to schedule and keep appointments. So feline resistance. This is one of the reasons that veterinary visits have been declining. Feline resistance is not a new issue. Cats have never wanted to go to the veterinarian. It appears they don't want to go even more now than they used to, or it's not so much that they don't want to go anymore, but their owners really don't want to take them to the veterinary practice. I mean, clearly, veterinarians are locked in a test of will with cats and the cats are winning. And you could say pet owners or cat owners are locked in this test of will with cats too, and they're simply giving up. And whether that's because not only is it difficult to take their cat to the veterinarian, but also veterinary care has gotten more expensive, they don't understand the need for care, there's most likely a whole group of factors here that are leading to this decline in veterinary visits by cats and their owners. Cats are significantly underrepresented in most practices. If you look at the percentage of cats as a percentage of total pets in the United States, they represent about 55% of the pet population, yet in most practices they only represent about 39% of the patient base. So we're simply not proportionally seeing as many cats in our practices as you might anticipate given how many of them there are out there in the owned pet population. Veterinarians do make some attempts to make it easier for cats to visit the veterinary practice, but it's only a relatively small percentage of veterinarians that do that. When you ask veterinarians if they provide training to all staff members about how to handle cats and the basic care that cats need, only 39% of practices said, yes, we always do this. We completely agree with that statement. Another 45% of practices somewhat agreed with that statement, but clearly they're not focusing on cats to the extent that they need to. 28% of practices said we go to great lengths to ensure the waiting room experience for cats and cat owners causes as little stress as possible. Another 42% of practices that responded to the survey somewhat agreed with that statement. But again, there's much that these practices can be doing to make this cat experience less stressful. One of the things that came out of the pet owner focus groups when we talked to cat owners, one of the things that they said that was most stressful for them about the whole vet experience was catching the cat at home and stuffing it in a carrier and bringing it to the practice. And they were eloquent in the stories that they told about how they had to chase their cat all around the house and how it would scratch them or bite them, and they would stuff it in the carrier and it would meow pitifully all the way to the veterinary practice, and then they would arrive there and they'd be in the reception area and a big German Shepherd would poke its nose at the carrier and the cat goes ballistic, and they went on and on and on about how much they hated this experience. So one of the questions that we asked in the Bayer study was, or one of the statements was, I provide each cat owner with instructions on how to make travel to the clinic less stressful for them and their cat. And only 8% of practices completely agreed with that statement. Another 25% of practices somewhat agreed, but we really only have about a third of practices who are making any attempt at all to help cat owners understand easier ways to catch their cat and to bring it to the veterinary practice. And so that's a huge opportunity there to bring cat owners back into the practice. A huge amount of the growth potential in our practices is in cats, probably 80%, because cats are so well represented in the pet population and yet so underrepresented in our own practices that there's a lot of growth that we could anticipate if we reach out to cat owners. There are, as we said earlier, about 13% more cats in the United States than dogs. Cat visits are about 30% less than dog visits. Cat owners spend less when they visit the practice. Cat owners understood less the need for veterinary care than dog owners did. And the lifetime value of cats is very high. I mean, if you look at the amount of money that cat owners spend as cats get older, the ones that actually do visit a veterinary practice, it's very high. Compared to dogs. So increasing the number of cats that a practice sees is good economically as well as being good for the cat. So how do we do that? We have to fundamentally change the care that cats receive. And that's not just about the medical care, but again, it's about the client experience. And so one of the first things that we can do is identify all the cats owned by your clients. It's not uncommon at all for cat owners or for dog owners to have one pet, either a dog or a cat that they bring regularly to the practice, but there are other pets at home that never see a veterinarian. Generally, when there are pets at home that don't see a veterinarian, those are cats. So by simply asking every single client that comes into the practice, do you have other pets at home? Do you have other cats at home? We can identify cats that need care. Once we know about those cats, either the ones that are regularly visiting the practice or ones that aren't, we need to work harder at educating clients about the need for care. Cat owners definitely understood less than dog owners about the care that their pets needed. We need a cat-friendly facility. Some of this cat-friendly issue is about making the visit less stressful for cats, but a lot of it is about making the visit less stressful for cat owners as well. And there are many things that we can do. We can help cat owners understand how more easily to transport their kitty. When the cat and its owner show up at the practice, instead of leaving them in the reception area with the loud barking dogs, we can put them immediately into an exam room, or we can have a separate part of the reception area, whether it's a separate room or even a screened off area. There's a place that cats and their owners can wait without feeling intimidated by the dogs. We want to make sure that everyone in the practice is comfortable handling cats and knows what to do during an examination. Just because you've been to veterinary school or work in a veterinary practice doesn't mean you have an intuitive understanding of cats. And with cats, often less is more in the handling, but sometimes when we're fearful of an animal, what we tend to do is just clamp down. So there's much education that can be done on cat-friendly handling and cat-friendly examination. We certainly want to make sure that we understand what the current thinking is on cat health care, and AHA and AAFP have put out a set of feline life stage guidelines, which are very useful in this regard. And just as with dog owners, cat owners are concerned about cost as well. So if we increase payment options and help cat owners understand what those payment options are, we're going to see more cats in our practice. We ask veterinarians in the Bayer study whether or not they actually ask all clients about the existence of other pets at home. And what we found is that 24% of practices said that they always ask every client about other pets at home. Another 42% somewhat agreed with that statement, which means they sometimes do it. And then the rest of the group disagreed, so they don't actively try and identify other pets at home. It's clear here that about 75% of practices could be doing a better job, and this is a very simple activity. It doesn't cost any money. It simply means we have to train our front desk staff every time a client comes in to ask about whether there are other pets at home. It also means that you can update your new client form to make it a little bit easier to identify those pets. So don't just say, are there other pets at home? Say, how many other cats do you have? How many other dogs do you have? What are their names? And then you can use that information to set these pets up in the reminder system and to talk to the owner about the care that those pets need. This slide shows a number of resources that are available to become a more cat-friendly practice. You can search feline friendly or cats on dvm360.com and find many articles there about changes you can make in your practice. The American Animal Hospital Association also has the feline life stage guidelines that I talked about earlier. That was a project done in conjunction with the American Association of Feline Practitioners, and their website, Cat Vets, has all sorts of great resources. The Catalyst Council also has terrific resources for becoming a more cat-friendly practice, including a video that helps clients understand how to acclimate their cat to a carrier, which is one of the steps in making it easier for a cat to visit the veterinary practice. And an organization based in the UK, the Feline Advisory Bureau, also has a number of resources about making your practice more cat-friendly. Cat practices and cats in the UK are very similar to those in the United States, so those resources are as applicable to us as they are to our colleagues overseas. In the last section, we'll talk about convenience and how to make it easier for your clients to visit your practice.